Gynecologist. It took a lot of schooling to get to where I am, so you have to know that you want to do this. I went to Duke University for 4 years. I went to the University of Miami Medical School for another 4 years, and then I did a residency for 4 years. But because I didn't know if I wanted to do public health, I actually went to Harvard and did a public health degree. So I have a lot of degrees, but it starts one step at a time. I didn't just go do my degrees, I actually got married and did the other things, like had kids as well. So it's not like you just go to school forever. You do go to school for a long time, but it is actually well worth it. It's a wonderful thing to be a physician, and I would encourage all of us to be scientists and engineers and figure out what we want to do to help and serve other people. Our proud principal, Mrs. Angela Ward, to the stage to give some awards. Thank you, Ms. Canty, for putting this program together every year. And when we made the decision to start with the panel guest, I think we made that decision with Dr. Brown Graham. Because at the time, she was giving our students scholarships, and she wanted other students to see what they could accomplish also if they worked hard. And so, thank you, Ms. Canty, for fulfilling that vision of ours, and also thank you, Dr. Brown Graham, for giving us the idea to do this. I want to start off by thanking, once again, Dr. Brown Graham and the T. Leroy Jefferson Medical Society and their foundation, and working with George Snow for giving our students scholarships. Over the last, I think, 6 years or more, they've given our students at least $1,000 per student, and sometimes there have been up to 8 students who received a scholarship in 1 year. So they dedicated themselves to not only giving back to the communities in the West Palm Beach area, but also in the Glades. And so let's give them and their organization another round of applause. Scholarship dollars, but they also give their time. And so they come out, they've spoken to students in the medical program, they've also been here for our career and college fairs. They've also provided transportation for our students to attend their yearly event every year that they host at LA Grove. And so we just want to thank them, and I hope that the students who are sitting in this audience understand the importance of giving back, which leads me to our guest speaker, who graduated from Glade Central. I just want to recognize her once again, and because of the work that she's doing, Ms. Daniels. One of the things that you said was, even though you graduated years ago, you're still fighting for this community and fighting for our students in the school. And Ms. Canty mentioned about our theme of building a brand. We came up with this idea of this theme before you guys, who are now 9th and 10th graders, had even come to Glade Central. But it was important for people to know the accomplishments of our students and the work that our students are doing and the work that former students have done over the years. So there's a lot to celebrate, and there's a lot to be proud of by coming or growing up in the Glades region. And I hope you understand what she mentioned when she said that it's important for you to be proud of where you're from. When you go off to college or wherever it is that you choose to go once you graduate from here, we hope that you're not telling anyone that you're from West Palm Beach, that you're being proud about being from BelleGlade, South Bay, Canal Point, Pahokee, wherever it is that you've grown up. There are a lot of people who've grown up in this community who are doing great things. She's one of them. Also, Mr. Rodney Davis, who's sitting on the end, who was my former student. And to hear him say at the time, I didn't know that his GPA was only what he said it was. I didn't know. I wouldn't have known that because he's always been a smart student. So he had street smarts. He understood the information that we were doing in class. And he also mentioned that the GPA requirement was a 1.5, which I did not know at the time. Now to graduate, you need, the minimum GPA is a 2.0. All of you who are sitting in this room have over a 3.0 GPA. But you can do better than that. We want to make sure that our students understand that in order for you to get smarter, you have to put in the work. You were challenged to read one book a month, and then you were challenged again to read at least one book a week. That's very important because the more you read, the more you know and the more you learn. And so when you're taking those SATs, those ACTs, and you stumble across a word that you may not have been familiar with, reading those books is going to expose you to that, and so that's very important. I also want to thank our panel guests for being here today. It's so important for me that you take time out to provide our students with knowledge. And even though we only had one student in this audience who decided to ask a question, I know there are many students sitting in this auditorium who probably have questions, and once we end this, they'll probably be coming to you to ask questions. Also, the representatives from the colleges who are here. It's very important. Last Friday, we had our annual career and college fair, annual college signing day, college and military signing day. And so we increased the number of students who signed last Friday. We had 74 students to sign. There are more than 74 students who've committed to going to college. 74 students had their information in on time. It's important for you when you have a deadline that you stick to the deadline and you follow the deadline. But 74 students had their information on time, and so we celebrated those students last Friday. And so we keep doing things to expose our students. This is one of those things that we do to expose you. And as they were talking, I was looking at you sitting in the audience and looking at how some of you are sitting in your chairs. Some of you weren't as focused as I would like for you to be. And what I need you to understand is this. Every school is not doing this. Every school does not give students these opportunities that we're providing for you. So when you have an opportunity to interact with these professionals, you need to take advantage of it, because every school does not do this. So if I don't say, it's something that I say over and over again, when you have this opportunity to participate in something like this, I know you guys have classes that you may be concerned about. We understand all of that. But we've communicated to your teachers when we gave you the pass that we wanted you to be in here. And so when you're in here, we need you guys to take advantage of these opportunities. 11th and 12th graders will be going to the Career and College Fair, so they'll have an opportunity to ask questions of these guests who are sitting to my left. But as a 9th and 10th grader, for you to be exposed this early, then you got to take advantage of that, because every school does not do this and everybody doesn't have this opportunity. And I'm quite sure if I asked Ms. Daniels and Mr. Davis, when they were in school, if they had things such as this, they'll probably tell you no. I don't know. But okay, so they said no. So we want to make sure that you do that. So with that being said, again, thank you, Ms. Canty. Thank everyone who's here as a guest, and also representatives from T. Leroy Jefferson Scholarship Foundation for giving our students the scholarships. For the students who receive the scholarships, we need you to stay because we do need to take pictures. And I want to say thank you.
Okay, you guys are all 9th and 10th graders. Look up the scholarships from George Snow. These scholarships are available for all you students that are in 9th and 10th grade, but you gotta put the work in now. You can't just get there in 12th grade and go, oh my goodness, I don't have all the stuff I need. Look at what they require from you, because this is when you should be doing those building blocks to make sure that you are able to get those scholarships. You're the cream of the cream. You're the ones that were invited here. You're the ones that should be like bursting down the doors. There's a Quantum Foundation scholarship that pays a full ride for you to go to Palm Beach State or Palm Beach Atlantic or Florida Atlantic University. Every one of you should be applying for that scholarship, because why would you want to pay when you could have your full 4-year ride be paid for? Hello. So please look into this, because it's really important that the dollars that are there be used by all you guys in the Glade. We want to rush up all your applications. So you are the group that's going to actually, I'm looking for you to write more scholarships. I'm actually, believe it or not, in my spare time, I sit there and try to figure out which of the students deserve scholarships. So yeah, please try to apply for these scholarships, okay?
So I just want to say one more thing, based on what Dr. Brown Graham said about the scholarships. How many of you know Jada DeAugustine? Okay. Jada DeAugustine, senior in this class of 2018, received the scholarship last Wednesday night, $140,000 academic scholarship she received, $140,000 full ride to Lynn University over the number of years that she will be attending that school. She also got a scholarship from Palm Beach State, and I think it was another full ride for her with an additional 2 years that they will be giving her $10,000 each year. Giselle's here, she's getting scholarships. Also Keith is getting scholarships, Jean, all of these students, but the difference between those students who get the scholarships and the ones who don't goes back to what Dr. Brown Graham is saying, goes back to what Rodney, Mr. Davis says, goes back to what Miss Gary, right? Daniels, I'm sorry, Miss Daniels said. And that is, you must put in the work. Nothing's going to fall in your lap. You have to put in the work, and so you treat those scholarships just like a job.
Medical school, I actually thought I was going to work for the World Health Organization. I speak fluent Spanish. Yo puedo hablar español con fluencia. And I speak Spanish porque yo quiero hablar otra lengua. I speak Spanish because I want to speak 2 languages. Every time I see someone that speaks only Spanish, I speak to them in Spanish. So all of you that are bilingual, please keep speaking Spanish. I thought with my extra language that I would work for the World Health Organization. So that's why I did my public health degree. But I got married and I had children, and you can't be traipsing all over to all these different countries with 2 kids and a husband. So I ended up loving what I do, and I do agree, if you have a job that you love, I've never regretted for a day being a physician. So I am still practicing. I've been practicing in West Palm Beach for 21 years. I'm now delivering people who I delivered, which is crazy. So yes, there's 2 people, 21 years old, and I delivered that baby, and she said to her significant other, "Oh my gosh, she delivered me," and I'm like, "Don't tell him that, you're gonna make me seem old." So, but I delivered her, and I'm now delivering her baby. So it's actually very wonderful, and I too feel like if you have a job that you love, you never work a day in your life. So I really haven't changed what I've done. I just keep expanding. One thing that I actually think about any job is always stay current, especially in medicine. I can't not figure out what the new techniques are. There's a machine called the Da Vinci robotic machine, and that's now how we do hysterectomies. We used to take a knife and cut everyone open, and now we do it with a laparoscope instead. So you have to stay current. You have to stay current in whatever field you're doing. You have to know the latest security techniques, or the latest obstetrical techniques, or the latest electrical techniques. You gotta stay current. So gaining knowledge is very, very important, and realizing that you're never done learning is very critical. I actually want to say one thing about what I would tell my 9th grade self. I was always a student, and I actually loved to read, but I think that people don't realize when, I'm going to call you young, when this young lady wrote, read at least 1 book a month, I'm going to increase that for you to tell you to read 1 book a week. Because I read voraciously. Does anyone know what voracious means? Okay, yes, I was greedy about reading. And you should be greedy about reading because guess what reading does? I too was a foreigner. I came from Jamaica and I came here when I was 13 years old. And I read every single day. If you read, you don't even need to study for the SATs. My SAT scores years and years ago was 650. And the reason why it was, my English score, was because I just read constantly. And so my vocabulary was amazing because I just kept reading. So if you really want to, you're in 9th and 10th grade, if you want to do well on these tests, just read a book a week. And read a book that's a little bit higher than what you think you should be reading. Because it's really important to get your vocabulary. I mean, I can call people, you are such a prevaricator. Does anyone know what that word means? It means you're a liar. But it sounds so much nicer to call someone a prevaricator because they don't even know you're insulting them. So I really encourage you all to just keep your vocabulary by reading at least a book a week. That's what I just